The power of pause is a practice that is designed to be done any moment of any day. It is to be used when it's desired to react differently than what our habitual ways of reacting would be. In the power of pause, it's just taking that moment in the middle of reactivity or in the moment of any day when you can just bring your focus, just pause. It includes present moment awareness, but it is also really just focused on just the pause, and in just the pause to focus on a breath, to focus on releasing the eyes and the shoulders, and just taking a few breaths just to distance yourself from reactivity, even to observe the reactivity from a third-person point of view, maybe even look at it a little curiously. And again, any situation is going to call for the power of pause to be done in a different way. If it's in the moment of a heated reactivity, then, just taking a breath and just pausing for a minute just to ground yourself would be appropriate. The power of pause just inserted to moments of your day where you can just pause for a moment and become present and focus on your breath would probably be done in a little bit of a slower, a little bit more of an intentional way. But again, because our habitual ways of being are that most of the time we're just reacting to life as it happens in constant reaction, and every time we react, we're just, our body is just adapting more to our habitual ways of acting or reacting, and the power of pause just disengages just for a moment, where we can block the associative memory in our neural networks that usually takes off in any direction, and just be able to pause, cut off the normal association of reactivity, and then just from a grounded state know how to proceed. So it's just a moment of pause, a moment of breath. I think it really helps to focus just a little bit on releasing the eyes and the shoulders, to just pull in, again, just the breath and the eyes, and releasing the shoulders will pull in quite a bit of parasympathetic activity, so we can just calm down, stop the absolute hijack of cortisol, of reactivity, of just too much of an influx of the sympathetic nervous system, and calm down and be able to think clear and become grounded. And again, it would be practiced differently in different situations. And a good way to practice the power of pause, again, any repeated experience is going to, we are going to adapt to any repeated experience. So even just practicing the power of pause throughout the day, in instances that aren't necessarily full of reactivity, is going to be able to more clearly kind of wire ourselves to be able to then, when we really need that power of pause in the moment of reactivity, to be able to go to that place, remember it first of all, but also be able to more groundedly engage in the power of pause when we are in that moment of reactivity. So it's a good idea just several times during the day, just to keep it in your awareness and keep practicing, and say 4 or 5 times each day, I'm just gonna, or every hour or every 45 minutes or something. Set your watch, something like that, to just remind yourself to stop, pay attention. Where is my attention? And I'm just going to take this moment to pause and to breathe. And then again, what you're doing is just training yourself to be able to engage in the power of pause. And most influential will be the times when you can really engage in that power of pause in the moment of reactivity, and understanding that we don't have to react all the time with our associative memory. We don't have to react all the time with our habitual ways of being, and just the breath, the pause, gaining a little distance. Again, it's not suppression, but gaining a little distance from the reactivity, again, even maybe witnessing or observing without letting it consume you, begins to go a long way to really restructure the way we are in any given moment. It also helps to be able to record. If you just write down and record the practices, 5 times during the day, and record it either each time or at the end of the day, the recording really helps you go back and look at moments that may have profoundly changed from the power of pause. First of all, but also second of all, what really helps with that is it helps kind of cement it in your memory to be able to remember, to go back, to engage in the power of pause when it's needed. For many of us, contemplative practice carries a very heavy spiritual influence, and as a piggyback practice to the power of pause is putting God in the pause. So while practicing the power of pause and in that moment to just be able to take a breath, if it's appropriate, it's not always going to be able to be appropriate, especially in high levels of reactivity, maybe not. But to be able to just take that moment and take that breath, but then also really in taking that breath, breathe in a felt sense of a spiritual presence or a spiritual guide or whatever sacred presence you would like to invite into that moment is also a very, very powerful way to practice the power of pause.